I think we are. Yep, we good. So we live and in full effect. Live and in full effect. So, like I said, y'all, I'm excited about today. And of course, with it just being, the three of us, that'll make this call a lot more focused on y'all and a lot more intimate as well. So feel free to like interrupt me, ask any questions you might have at any time. Don't hesitate to ask any questions. But I'm gonna get it popped off with an exercise that's gonna get y'all to think about what you could be incorporating in your content, incorporating in your conversations with people, incorporating in your offers, because honestly the whole importance of having, like I said, that membership subscription is like having an entry level tier that just kind of filters out people who see the value that you provide, and want to invest in that value as well. Whether it's for you, Crystal, as not just a hairstylist, but also as an entrepreneur and as an owner of a salon. That's time and that's resources and that's you know feedback that people value. Um, and then you, Daniela, with having a podcast in the mental health space, right? Like it might you could I could easily see people wanting to be a part of a community, especially if you create a close knit community where people feel heard, they feel valued, um and so that you could create a community like that where people feel those things. Not saying that we what I don't want people to get out of this lesson is that it's the least bit predatory, right? It's not like you saying, oh yeah, I'm creating this community and it's a ticket to be a part of the community. But at the end of the day, you are providing value, and whenever you're exchanging value, you can exchange that value for a lot of other things. But the easiest one to exchange for value is, of course, currency. And nobody's saying that these entry levels have to be $1,000 a month, $2,000 a month. Heck, it doesn't even have to be $100 a month, right? Y'all are actually, see, this is an example of a community, where people pay anywhere from $10 a month and $14.99 a month, to be a part of the community. So like you could start at levels and tiers, as low as $10 a month, depending on what the value is. And you always want to start from the value and then work your way backwards. So let's start off with a brainstorming session first. And this is where I want to encourage y'all to just kind of brainstorm some ideas for your community offering, your mentorship subscription. So, like what will be some unique expertise, services, some resources, excuse me, that y'all could provide to y'all audience. Let's think about that first. What will be like an expertise, or think about common some FAQs, frequently asked questions that people, come to you with, because they see you putting out content. And they always asking the same questions that you find yourself answering often, to where you just thought maybe like, what if I just had, a day where I just brought everybody who asked me these questions and hopped on a Zoom call and answered those questions, did a Q&A. To be quite honest, a lot of YouTubers actually, a part of their mentorship, like their memberships, the lowest tier ones, just involve a monthly Q&A live stream where people can hop on the live stream and ask them questions. So like even if you find yourself just answering questions for people, that could even be, the basis of a membership tier. Also just think about like what expertise, and skills, and services that you would bring to the table. I know at one point, Crystal, we were talking about like you doing like a monthly brunch with some of the ladies that reach out to you often, right? Like, what would that look like? Are you involved? Are you including the ticket, for the meal, or is the meal on their own, and they're just more so paying for the access to the community and the location of where we meet and to go have brunch? What does that look like? So, feel free to come off mute and throw some ideas out of here, because you might have some ideas, Crystal, that could give Daniela some ideas for her community. Daniela, you might throw out some ideas that will give Crystal an idea. And really, we could just use this as an opportunity to powwow and just bounce some ideas off of each other. My goal is to make this as interactive as possible, because the more interactive we make it, again, we get to feed off of each other's energy. And then I also have an opportunity to kind of see what you have going on and maybe even help you build out, what that membership or that community might look like. So I see we got somebody else that just joined in. Welcome is either going to be Jerry or Acacia, but welcome to your first call in the creators community. How
Oh
you?
snap! What's
Okay,
going?
Jerry, it's Jerry. What's going on, Jerry? How you feeling, bro?
I'm doing good. I'm sorry. Uh, Acacia used it before, and I forgot to change my name.
Oh, it's all good, bro. It's all good, man. Well, we glad to have you. I mean, since this is your first chat, and your first time with us, just introduce yourself. Tell so we have Crystal and we have Daniela in the room as well. Daniela is a podcaster, also focusing on mental health and wellness. So
Nice.
that's her space. And Crystal, she's also dabbling in content creation and podcasting as well, but she's also a hairstylist who owns her own salon. So we bounce around, with different ways she can create content in that space as well. So if you could, share with the ladies what you do, how you got into what you do, and what you are excited about, I guess, this week.
Yeah, most definitely. So, hey everybody, my name's Jerry Colwell. I'm from Atlanta, but I'm out of Dayton, Ohio right now. My wife, she's in the Air Force, so we're out here, stationed out here for our current duty station. Um, in the day, I am a software engineer, but like at night and on the weekends and after work, I put in as much work being a photographer and videographer. I shoot weddings, I shoot like corporate events. I also create content as well. And I'm starting to get into like podcasting as well. Um, and maybe dabbling a little bit in the fitness industry as well with my photography and videography. I have a client that is in the works right now, so that's one thing I'm excited about.
Yeah, that's what's up, man. Shout out to you for securing that new client. And yeah, what I was just sharing with Crystal and Daniela is, the purpose of today's lesson is we're going to be talking about those different ways that you could create a membership community. And right
Mhm.
now we're just doing a little exercise, a little brainstorming session, if you will, just thinking about like what expertise do you offer? What services would you offer in this community? Would it be, multi-tier, or would it just be, single tier? Like, for the creators community, it's for the most part single tier, but would you have multiple tiers where they'll have an option to go like 1099 on the low end, and then on the high end they might do $100 and it might come with XYZ? Are you meeting them virtually? Would you be meeting them in person? But what would be the consistent theme or consistent value you could provide on a monthly basis or a weekly basis for a monthly, subscription that will make people feel like they are underpaying, right? Because what I'm learning in the people who have the most success with growing communities is you over deliver and you under promise but over deliver. So when you over deliver, it makes the price irrelevant because they're getting so much value from the calls. It's like they don't even think about paying 10, 20, 15, dollars a month because of how much value that they're getting. I remember when I first launched one of these, Joe, one of our members, first thing he said was like, I already feel like I owe you way more than $10. And I'm just like, hey man, that means a lot. And that one call helped him make the next day. I think it was like he told me he ended up making like $300 off of like consultation calls and stuff like that, just off of running the play. Another member recently, he celebrated making about $3,000 in 2 weeks off of running a specific play that we talk about for the podcasting, which is like the content package. So if you could think about what consistent value you can provide and how you can over deliver on that value, then we can kind of work backwards on, I guess, the putting a price tag on it. So a lot of people start at the price tag and try to work from there. Let's start at the value and then think of, okay, if I was to give all of this, right? Because then we got to look at the deliverables, right? We got to look at the amount of effort we putting in, the time commitment. We look at all of that, Then we'll say, okay, am I willing to do this for, X amount of dollars every single week or every single month, whatever the cadence is for you. So who would be open to sharing some ideas or thoughts that they have on that little spiel before I move on to the next part? Like, what would be a service that you would share? I see you coming off mute, Crystal.
Yeah. So I was sitting here thinking, so what's crazy is now that I have the surgery date, knowing that I might be off from work 6 to 8 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
And if anybody knows, as a hairstylist, you don't get paid unless you're working.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm thinking of like, what's this next? And to be just transparent and honest, it's always funny for me because I'm such a giver to ask people for money.
Mm-hmm.
Because I just give the knowledge away. But I was thinking of ways that I could get the membership or subscription going is kind of go over the videos I have on my Instagram page, like to break them down step by step and into the group. Because some of them are about scalp, some about like toning the hair color where it's not orangey yellow and I can get it to blonde. Some are just like the healthiness of hair. Why did I do this haircut this way? Why did I choose this? I think reusing by reusing a lot of my content because I'm not in the good space that I don't feel like I want to record a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Is to just go over some of my old videos like on my page and just talk about them and give people the opportunity. So it's almost like live consultation. So
Mm-hmm.
it's a membership for live one-on-one consultation where people can come in a group and I can give them a consultation about their hair. I can see them, I can ask those questions that is we are one of the trillion-dollar industries
Yep.
right now. And so everybody has questions about everything. And as much as I can answer, I can offer a membership for a Q&A.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
What do you think
Exactly.
about that?
That'd be something I think that's a great idea because, like you said, being in a $1 trillion industry, you have, of course, for it to be an industry that big, it's a very volatile industry as well. So
Right.
in any volatile industry, you have a lot of people coming in, you got a lot of people going out, whether they going out for retirement or they going out because they tried it, didn't like it, or they going out because they tried it, lost the patience, and just ended up giving up. But at the end of the day, you still got a lot of people coming in. So with that, everybody has an audience, right? So it's like it's not even that it's too saturated. I don't think that your industry could ever be too saturated. Just like the podcast industry as a whole can never be too saturated because it's always going to be more listeners than there are podcasters. There's always going to be more more people who need their hair done or want to learn how to do hair than there are stylists or coaches, right? So you could always set up a consultation, but I would definitely think that just kind of knowing your um where you are with workload and just not wanting to record more content, I would definitely focus more so on group engagement than like one-on-ones,
Yeah.
because the one-on-ones would limit uh one, it will limit how your reach, it will limit your reach, and then two, you're going to start to get exhausted from it sooner with, without and you'll have to put a higher ticket on it, let's say for example, because it's your
Yeah.
time, it's one-on-one, so you'll have to put a higher ticket on it for it to make sense. But if you were hopping on a Zoom call once a week or every other week, with 5 ladies, 10 ladies, 100 people in general, because not just ladies are learning how to do hair, right? So it's like just 100 people, it you could do that at 550, even $10, and you times that by 100, that's $1,000 a month
Yeah.
for 4 times of showing up. So you break
Right.
that down, it's like you getting paid $250 an hour because you essentially are making these Zoom calls um you're essentially making these Zoom calls an hour. Maybe they might go over every once in a while. But for the most part, if you break it down like that, if you're making $1,000 a month for 4 sessions, you're getting paid $250 an hour. So
Yeah.
I would definitely think about mixing in the uh doing mixing in the group calls
Well,
and
that's what I was saying. I was gonna say I was gonna do group calls. It would be like live consultation for a group. And then if you wanted to do, like, I already have a virtual consultation that you can purchase. And if you want to do it one-on-one, then you can purchase that one-on-one if you felt like you didn't get, you know,
mm-hmm.
the information in the group. And then with just listening to you talk and thinking out loud, I have two audience. I have the stylist who wants to be a stylist, or the person who wants to be a stylist, or the stylist who's already in the industry who wants to learn more, and then the clients.
Mm-hmm.
So you have,
that's a good point.
yeah. And so then I could even do just fast forward thinking of client asks the stylist, so we can have like a bring the stylist in and you answer the question that the stylist want to ask. Everybody want to know why braiders charge so much, or why people not shampooing hair anymore. They want you to come and all of that. Those questions can be implemented, and it gives it a quote unquote safe place for you to come and ask those questions and be known. And Daniela, I saw your statement, doing a master class on different styles. Definitely I could do something that I specialize in, whether it's a haircut, a color, or I'm known for doing a silk press that'll last.
My
So
stylist left New Jersey and is down in Atlanta now. She comes back. Like, a lot of her clients didn't fit in the book with the new lady. And she comes back and takes care of her higher, like full color process and full weave type of clients that will cost, she'll get a lot of money. She'll come in for 3 days at one salon, and she'll do, like, she's teaching the people at this other place. It's like younger women. So she's teaching them and doing like a master class with their people, or whoever that knows her knowledge or wants her knowledge. But she flies in and out. And yeah.
Now, you even saying that out loud, Daniela, gave me an idea for you, Crystal. Like, what if you were to, because you can have these different tiers, you could even incorporate, like, you have your virtual master classes, if you call them, right? And then let's say you have a client that is getting, something out of the ordinary done, or something that takes a certain level of skill, or I guess focus. You could even have like people who are in a specific membership level come in to like shadow you and be and like kind of watch if like if you have the space for it. Of course, that then you have a lot more moving parts, but that could even be an idea for how you create other tiers as well. But I definitely like where you're going as far as what you headed so far with the with the calls and with the coaching and the consultations. I think there is a way, and you said something as well that gave me an idea, because that's really the focus. And what I love the most about memberships communities is the more simple you have it, the more simplistic it is, the easier it is actually for you to make more money on the back end, because you got people nowadays, they got all these different products and all these different services that they trying to sell to all these different types of people. But where instead, if you just create one product that's for most of the people that you want to hit inside the community, who's to say you can't still pitch, special pricing or other types of products and services inside the community? Like, for example, if we have the creators community, I don't necessarily market. I don't really market a lot of my services as a videographer or like an editor or any of those things on social media. I mainly just market the community. But people in the community, once you get in the community, you'll find out that I do these other things. So, like, you guys might have an opportunity like, okay, yeah, as content creators, somebody might say, oh, but Kai, I don't really have enough time. Then I can say, okay, awesome. So special offer just for people in the creators community, you'll get access from my editors for only this price. Right. And so like you could always market other products and services inside that are exclusive to the community. It could be like a community exclusive offer, right? And it's like that's what allows people to just keep the focus on the community and just making the community better by providing other things, whether it's a la carte or you start to include other things into, you know, the membership package, or you create another tier like, hey, you guys can upgrade to the Creator Plus, which the Creator Plus will come with, you know, one monthly one-on-one call and some quarterly gear, right? That's the Creators Plus. But if anybody who just wants to kind of get their feet wet and see what it's about and join the weekly calls, they can join the creators community for X amount. But it's like I like to keep it simple, and that's kind of like the advice I like to give to y'all as well. Keep it simple, you know, create one membership package that is that scratches the surface on majority of your target and your audience's needs, and then you can spread and build other things outside of that that you just offer into the community. Because if people already, you increase your close rate by 30% by selling to people who are already spending money with you, which is why I think like 70% of people who have an iPhone most likely have an Apple Watch and or a MacBook computer, like a MacBook or the Apple computer. Because once you spend that money, you most likely going to spend more money when they come up with more products and services. So it's like Apple just targets their person, and then they create a bunch of different products that is specified to their person. They're not really trying to convert Samsung users to Apple. They just focusing on, okay, we got this Apple user, which let's say the iPhone is their membership community. The iPhone is their entry level community that gets them interested. And then everything else is based off of what the iPhone user likes. Think of your community the same way. Like, what can I make as my iPhone? And then after you create your iPhone, what other, you know, things can I make that my iPhone user would benefit from or really enjoy? Does that make sense?
Yes, it makes all the sense.
Okay, perfect. Jerry, now I know you are contemplating on working with a client that's in the like fitness space. I could see a ton of different ideas for you with with even just helping your client create a membership community, let alone you even be able to create a membership community for your products and services. What ideas are you having right now, or where's your brain at right now?
Yeah, so I think it's really important that you talk about like keeping things pretty simple. And I don't know why this is just clicking for me about like the whole iPhone example. That was a good example. Um, because I think one thing that was making it hard for me to really zone in on good like customers and getting people in is offering too many services and packages.
Hmm.
Um, And with this new client, I'm taking a different approach because kind of, I'm not marketing myself as like a videographer or photographer anymore. I mean, of course, I told y'all because that's what I do. But like for me right now, I have three packages that are kind of like a retainer fee for what I would do for them. It's more on like the social media content creation, social media side. So like one package is like very basic, you know, like X amount of long form videos, X amount of short videos, X amount of like physical shoots for like marketing or lifestyle shoots. And then, you know, package 2 and 3 is basically increasing those quality amounts. And then package 2 is increasing that amount. And then package 3 is where I would want to convert people who feel like they could only afford package 1 or 2 into package 3, which comes with actual social media management and optimization. So it goes from me curating the content to now me actually being hands-on on how the content should be used.
Mhm.
As far as like a membership, that's just for the client. But as far as like uh, with the fitness client, with their membership, I mean, it's really like it's just so many things you could do there. Like as far as like a membership, as far as like special workouts, special nutrition plan benefits, and a community of people who are also trying to get in shape, who are also trying to get personal time with the trainers and things like that.
Right. Right. That's a good point. And so, like, what would you say are the pain points or challenges that your clients or future clients may face that you could potentially address through creating a mentorship or a membership program? Because even with your services, like some of those services sound like things that will be recurring, like so especially
Yeah.
like social media management. If they were to give you clips and you were to post a certain amount of clips per day or per week or whatever the cadence is, like this is something that's recurring. Like that could be right there a membership program. Now, something like that by no means is that a low ticket membership. Like that's not like your 10, your 20, your $30
Yeah.
memberships. That's something that's well above, I would say, like for a full, like I know social media management companies that are charging anywhere from $1,000 to $1,500 a month for like social media management. You know, with the posting, and they come up with the captions, the hashtags, the whole nine. So like, but that is a form of a membership. It's a membership. It's a high ticket membership. It's a membership
Yeah. Yeah.
to say the least. The sweet spot that I'm thinking for memberships is definitely here's some good prices. You got $99, you have $47, you have $24.99, and you have $14.99. Those four prices are like key like they're like your milestones, I guess, key milestones as far as pricing wise for the most official or most efficient memberships. So like what would be a watered down version of your social media packet that you could create that would be like a $99 a month membership? And what will be the pain points or challenges that your clients can face that you will ultimately be solving with that membership?
Mm, I think like maybe like I don't know, I'm thinking probably like a monthly like constant not concentration, consultation, maybe like a educational membership that that I guess teaches them, like, I mean, nothing too in depth, but like that could potentially like teach them about social media, like algorithms, teaching them about different features, maybe.
Mhm.
But would that be? I don't know. Maybe I'm thinking too deep into it. But would that take away from the customers like get going to like larger packages or larger memberships? I mean,
It won't. So here's the psychology of it, right? Whenever you have educational packages like this, like the learning experience, you're going to get you're going to get three types of people naturally who are going to come to your doors. You're going to get the first type of person that wants to do it themselves. So they're going to fall head into your content, and they're going to be on every call. They're going to be taking notes because they want to do everything themselves anyway. So they're going to take what you say and they're going to put it into action. The second person is going to be the person that wants to do it themselves, but hasn't been doing it long enough to see the scope of work and needs a little bit more help. So you might get away with selling them on some packages like, we'll edit your clips for you, right?
mm,
And then the third person is the person who intends to do it themselves. And then after the first call or the second call, or the more they spend time with you, the more they realize they don't want to do none of that themselves. So you get away with pitching to them, I'll edit the clips for you and I'll manage your social media account. And then that's where you could, so again, it still goes back into you starting simple and then creating these other sub products that are associated to these different archetypes. So you have the main archetype, and then you have these sub archetypes of the audience when they go through these different phases or they go through these different milestones of their life, right? One just may be a business owner that doesn't have time to do this themselves. The other one might be, you know, a side hustler, and at one point now they got a kid on the way, so they just can't they can't afford the time to invest in this, but they got the resources that they might just pay for somebody to kind of speed up the process. But you still would start off by getting them in the door with that monthly membership. And I would say honestly, if you're doing like a monthly consultation, again, going back to what I said, the crystals, like I would think with the membership, these are best in group environments, right? You could always throw in like a one-on-one consultation a la carte, but like the base of it is like it's in groups, because you'll limit yourself because you can only do so many one-on-one consultations. And if it's a monthly one in a group environment, I would say $99 may be a little high unless you giving them like a social media journal, like a hardcover book, like a templated book that helps them, you know, go through the process, right? Like whether it's like a textbook that you created or something like that. If you're giving them some merch on a quarterly basis, you got to add some more things to it to make the, you know, so people can easily see the value, because value is communicated on what people's willing to pay. As we had this conversation the other day, it's like it's what people are willing to pay that communicates the value. Not saying that that's your worth, right? Not saying that you're only worth $99, but if you say I got this membership and it's $99 a month, and people say, "Oh, I would rather pay $47," and that's the consensus, then the value of the membership is $47 a month, because that's what people are willing to pay. So what about we still got Danielle on here? No, Danielle left. What about you, Crystal? What do you think are some pain points or some struggles that people who would join your membership would be going through right now?
So as far as a business owner, hiring,
like hiring new stylists,
quality and stable people, and convincing. And so with me being in a salon, we have 11 people. I have 11 chairs, and convincing people to come back into the salon as opposed to the suites. That's a big thing that's going on now.
Oh, like the suites is like these like shared workspaces where salon stylists can get their own suite and just have people come in like that.
Yeah. So you know, with that, you don't learn a lot being in a room isolated by yourself. You know, I mean, you can tell the difference. That's like in the industry, when you work by yourself, you only know what you know, and you only gonna do what you research. But when you're amongst other people, you can bounce off. You can look at other people's. You know, there's a like a family network that we have, and just in case somebody's not there, like I'm getting ready to talk to one of the stylists now to see if she want to commission some of my clients while I'm out. So I'll give her like a 60-70 commission if she wants to do my clients for me. So you get that opportunity. That's like a whole month's of work. That's a lot of money that can be made, you know. And you know, even with her, I don't even know how she's gonna take that, because some people be like, well, if I'm gonna do your clients, I'm gonna get it all. But I'm like, you wouldn't get them if it wasn't for me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, if anything, take it as like, just give me a referral fee. Your 30% would be like my referral fee.
Yeah, and you know, it's a win-win situation for both of us. It'll help you build up your book for that month, and also it might build my trust of my clients that if I'm not available, they can come to you, you
Mhm.
know. So people, I just pray that, you know, she looks at it, and if not, it's all good, you know, we go on to the next. But so yeah, that suites with stylists, learning the difference between a clientele and having customers.
Mhm.
Those are big. I think y'all probably know it, and I think it's in the industry. You know, when you have a client, that means that person comes to you quite often for different things, whether how
Right.
frequently it is, you know, whatever it is, those people come to you for your expertise because that's what they want to use you for. Customers, they just looking for something for to be next, you know.
Mhm.
Help them do that. Style, how to give a salon experience to the customer. So that it's here talking to you, I get more upset with myself because I know I have the knowledge and I know people that needs it and they're willing to pay for it. I think one of my biggest concerns, not even concerns, is how do I just even start to say, okay, now the blue sky, here comes Crystal with a membership.
Mm.
Like, how does it work? Like,
How do you start the conversation?
yeah, like what would be my pitch of like my first post? What would that look like if you were to give me an example of me getting ready to put out a post tomorrow?
Right. So when and because this is you sharing news, right? It's like this is the big news that you sharing. And I would say you want to take the same approach that the news, the like CNN, your WNBC, like what is their approach? What is all these news stations approach, or even
Breaking news.
breaking news? Like what is the approach that they take? They usually take the approach of leveraging people's fears or their
Okay.
struggles or you know what's holding them back. So it's like you share that. It's like, hey, I know y'all tired of not getting consistent clientele and just having customers one and done. I know you tired of this. I know you tired of that. I know you have been missing that community so that you can continue to learn and perfect your craft. Wanted to let y'all know that this is what we have going now, and this is you could craft that message however you need to. But I would say you start off by looking deep into the fears and the struggles and the pain points of whoever it is you targeting, whoever that avatar is, and you touch on that first, and then you go into the value.
Okay.
And this could be done in more than just one post. You know, you don't have to squeeze it in one post. I would definitely say something like this. You could start off as like the 7-day marketing campaign that we talked about a couple weeks ago. So you got your hook, you got your educate, you got your reward, your outcome. Then you go into like featuring, people that have worked with you in the past and had got some consultations from you. You go into the results again, right? So you go into all these different things, and every day you just dripping it on people and letting them see more and more the value of tapping in, with your offer. And then of course in days, I think of day by day 5, that's when you putting in the call to action. Like that's when you asking, you telling people inherently, like very specifically, like join the community, join now, $47 a month, join now, $24.99, join now, $99 a month, whatever that looks like. And speaking of, the biggest part that we want to communicate in this is how we plan on fostering that sense of community and that sense of connection and exclusivity for these potential members. So this is a good thing to think about for both of y'all. Like, how would you make people feel connected with each other? How would you make them feel like a community and like they're getting something different by being with you and being, tapped in with the community than they would if they did have that suite, right? Like you mentioned a couple perks. It's like, you being in the community is like, cool, yeah, you got this suite and you isolated and all that, but you got mostly customers, a couple clients, and you are now, and now getting complaints that you doing things the same ways, right? Whereas opposed to being in the community, you got other stylists you can learn from. You got new ideas. You in an environment that's constructive, collaborative, especially when you talk about passing on clients to each other. So you know, you want to talk about the sense of community and the connection that people are going to get as well.
Now you said, I got to go back. The 7-day challenge is still at the beginning.
Yeah, let me look and see. Let me look, and what I'm gonna do is I think I might be able to just at you at the one that I'm talking at the one specific that I'm talking about. But yeah, that video that we did talking about the social media campaigns,
Mm-hmm.
7-day campaign, that's definitely gonna be the one that you want to go back and watch.
Yeah.
The perfect. The audience, no. I think it was the perfect storytelling blueprint. No. I think it was this one. Reply. So I can reply to this, and I'm gonna add you right there.
Okay.
Boom. So then so you got it in the previous calls chat, which one that you want to go to and look at. That video will give you that blueprint on that 7-day marketing campaign. Jerry, you definitely want to take a look at that one as well. Essentially what we did in there was just look at it's a 7-day marketing campaign. It's known as like the strongest social media campaign that you can follow, especially for course creators and people with offers, going from day one of being the hook down to day 7 being the out. I think it's the recap. Yep, the recap, where you pretty much recapping the whole campaign, and throughout there's different call to actions that's pretty much asking people to act and do what it is we say. On like the best case scenario, you get a bunch of people joining your community, and at the worst case scenario, you learn your audience a lot more, and you see how to perfect it for the next time you run that campaign.
Yeah.
So what about you,
Where is
Gary?
this at?
Yeah, go ahead.
I was saying, where is this at?
Oh yeah, it's gonna be in the Discord. I'm gonna add you to it as well.
Okay.
Give me 1 second. Boom, boom. Boom. There you go.
Got it.
All right, perfect. So those are the biggest 3 questions for the brainstorming part. Is just how we want to foster, and y'all want to write these questions down too. How can we foster that sense of community, connection, and exclusivity for our members? What are the pain points and challenges that they face that we can address through our membership program? And then what makes us unique as far as experience, services, or resources that we can provide to that audience? Now, the
Can you say those again? I know I'm typing.
Mhm.
Can you say those 3
yeah.
questions again? I'm typing.
Okay, yeah. So the first question is, what can we do, or how can we foster a sense of community, connection, and exclusivity for our members? How can we make them feel a part? How can we make them feel like that sense of belonging? Because that's one thing as humans we crave, is that sense of belonging. How can we make them feel like they belong? The second one is, what are the pain points or challenges or fears the client faces that we can address in our membership program?
What fears?
Yep, fears, challenges, and pains. And then the last one is, what makes us unique in terms of, expertise, services, and resources that we can provide to our audience. And what I like to do is I like to do a lot of brain dumps. So I might write down all the things I'm good at, all the services I might want to provide, all of the, resources I have at my disposal. I was just brain dumping. I'll write them all down in a list on a piece of paper. And then I'll, cross out the ones that I feel like, nah, that's too much sauce. Or, oh yeah, no, this is great sauce. I could definitely put this in here. Oh yeah, we could definitely do that. We can definitely do that. And then I'll go into the next phase, which is, pricing it. And there are a lot of resources out here, guys, where we could like validate this idea. And when we validate the ideas, this is us wanting to fact check and you know uh retrace our steps and go look. And we got tools like AI, for example, like ChatGPT. You got Bard, BARD, which is a Google-based AI, which is very similar to Chat. But you want to go back and retrace these steps. You want to ask yourself, are there similar community offers or similar memberships that are already in the market? Is somebody already doing this?
Mhm.
And if somebody is doing this, how can their idea differentiate? How can you differentiate yourself from their idea and like match it, like provide additional value? Like I know what most competitors do is they see what their competition is doing, and they just one up them. They'll either do a price match, or they'll say, "Yep, we'll give you all of that and this for the same price." So it's like you can look at it and see, okay, if you already see a bunch of communities like that, definitely you have a good sign. Like don't reinvent the wheel. I would say what they include, see if you have if you have that expertise, if you have those resources, and if you do, I would say provide the same thing and add something else to it. You already adding something different to it, which is yourself. You are the differentiation already. I do want to let you know that.
Okay.
So it won't ever be exactly the same. But you still want to see how you can make that what's the cherry on top, I guess, is the better question. What's the cherry on top?
Or
Um
peach.
That's good.
what was that?
I said, or the peach on top.
Or the peach, right? We in Georgia, right? What's that peach on top? And so another question is or another thing you can do is conduct surveys too and gather feedback from your audience. Especially if you already have an audience, if you already have clients that are working with you, you already have that clientele, you already have people that you have done work for in the past, right? Conduct a survey and gather that feedback from them to say like, hey, do you feel like you would benefit, would you get on a weekly call if I was to commit to answering your questions? I know you've been meeting with me, every 2 weeks or sometimes been 3 times a month, and so whenever you can get the time to ask some questions, would it benefit you if I set specific time for you to ask those questions? And would you also even benefit from being a part of a group in a community that is like kind of in the same position as you? Just asking your clients already if they would like, I love asking that question, like, do you think you would benefit from, or would this benefit you, or do you see the value in those 3 questions right there? um are very strong questions to ask and give you a lot of the answers that you're looking for.
Cool.
Also looking at what pricing models and payment structures would be appropriate for the offer.
That
So
was gonna be my next.
mhm.
So setting up the website or funnel, I guess that would be my next thing that I have to do, because I just have a regular website with the salon stuff.
Mhm.
Um, do I integrate that or
So there are a lot of different things you can do
okay?
to integrate the payment processing of it. You can build it on your website. If your website has a payment processor on it, you can like Stripe or something like that. You could also use like Square payments. I like Square because Square does have like recurring payments. So if I didn't already have it built on my website, I would just build it on Square, because Square doesn't have an option where you can manually enter somebody's card information. You can send them the link and they can enter it. But if you send them the link, the only thing about it, if you send them the link, it most likely won't be recurring. So like that's why Square is like, okay, yeah, you got it. The good news is you can make it recurring, but the con is you got to collect their information, which means that you probably got to you got to put their card information in manually. That's the only downside with Square. So I would say using Wix. Wix has they already have built in a community/membership like portal. So like you can manage everything from the portal. You can collect payments. They're recurring. You could do it that way. What's another one? Patreon is another good one. So if you're familiar with Patreon, that's a free. It's free to use. They you pay them on the back end. So like if you get a membership and you charge, $20 a month, I think they get like 2.5% for the processing, kind of like PayPal. It's very similar to PayPal's processing. So Patreon is a good one. They also have a membership portal already built into into the interface and into the infrastructure too. So it's like people are automatically accounted for. You get your data sheet. You can see your members. You can see who's active. You can see who just recently left. And the beauty about Patreon is you also get to see their emails too. So if somebody canceled a membership, you can reach out to them. You can email them, try to get them back. But you also have like the list of all the emails too, so you can export that and then you can put that into your website to do like email marketing, to like pitch other products and services you might have available for them, etc.
And that's Patreon.
Yeah, Patreon. And another thing I like about Patreon is they have built in there like a gift processing service. So like let's say you wanted to provide like every month or every 3 months, you wanted to give your community like some merch or like a hoodie or a t-shirt or a mug and something like that. You can automatically set that up and they'll send it out automatically. You just connect it to like a Printful. um you connect, or actually no, they manage that too, so you don't even have to connect it to a Printful. You can pick if it's going to be a hoodie, if it's going to be a t-shirt, if it's going to be a mug, a journal, a book, or a picture, whatever. You pick what you want your gift to be, and then it tracks how long the member's been with you, and then every 3 months or however long you have it, every month, every 3 months, every 6 months, they'll send out that gift to them automatically. So that's another thing I like about Patreon.
Okay. And that's Paytron.
Patreon. I'll drop that in the chat. So Patreon.
Gotcha.
Here we go. So that is that. But that's a great feedback and good question. Jerry, you got any questions so far?
Well, no, I'm just taking everything in right now. It's dropping gems, man.
Yo, cool. So that's really, if you could honestly find something like a Patreon, or if you have a Wix, that kind of goes through all the headache. That's the majority of the headache, because the next step is setting up the infrastructure, and that's where it kind of gets discombobulated, because you got to have a place where you can easily manage your members, see your members, engage with your members. Like Discord is another example of an infrastructure. I like Discord. It's not integrated. The only thing I don't like is not integrated with the website. So I have to manually add, like when somebody joins, I do have to manually add them to the live calls and to the previous calls. When they join from YouTube, or if they join from the website, they automatically join the Discord like into the engagement chat, but I have to manually add them and give them permission to the live calls and to the previous calls. So that's the only thing. But I still like Discord, because feedback from Joe and a couple other members was they like being able to have the accessibility of it being on their phone, like logging on Jerry, you might not be familiar, but the old way that people used to join the calls was through my website. So
Yeah.
like it's you most likely was going to get the best experience if you were doing it from your computer, but if you was doing it from your phone, it was definitely a little bit tricky. So Discord just makes it more accessible and mobile friendly for you to easily see where the live calls are, where you can go back and watch the old videos and not have to log into an account on my website every time. So that's important, right? People like that's another thing to keep in mind too. Like, what will be the user experience that you're going to provide to your members? How are they how are they receiving the Zoom call link? If it's a Zoom call, how are they receiving the notice to meet in person? If you're doing monthly meetups in person, right? Like, because we in Georgia, we doing our hiking meetup pretty soon. So like you need a place that is you need like a central command, like a central place that everybody can go to get all the information that they need, whether it's a Zoom call, whether it's an event that's coming up, whether it's just to be a part of the community, just to talk amongst each other and network. Some people like doing it on a Facebook group. Other people might do it on a Discord. Others might just keep everything on Patreon. So that's definitely something to keep in mind. Lastly, but certainly not least, this is by far the most important part, is the marketing and launch strategy. And we talked a little bit about that earlier with the 7-day campaign. But the first thing before you even do any of this is like you want to identify who your target audience is. Um, who's that avatar? Who is this intended for? Remember, my mantra that I like to live by is you aim small, you miss small. So you don't want to try and be like, oh, I want everybody to be a part of my community. Like you really don't. You really don't. Because the last thing you want is trying to get everybody in and you get the wrong person in and the negative Nancy in your group. Oh, they always talking about this. We talked about that last week. Can you talk about something else? Or, I tried this and it don't work. And you don't want those types of people in your community. So that's why you want to be very specific on who you targeting, the type of people that you aiming for, and everything else kind of works itself out. If you do a really good job of targeting the right person, they naturally going to spread the word to the right people. They're going to spread the word to their aunts, their uncles, their family, their friends. They're going to spread it to all the people because you're doing such a good job resonating with them. So identify that target, plan your pre-launch campaign to generate the excitement and build up the anticipation, right? So the pre-launch campaign, Crystal, is different from the 7-day campaign that we just talked about. So the pre-launch campaign would involve maybe like a couple posts of you saying something big's coming, right? Big announcement, breaking news, right? These could be still posts, these can be videos. I remember, I don't know if these are still popular, but I know when my one of my frat brothers was when he launched his nonprofit and he does these like back to school events. I remember seeing him on my reels and it'll be like a video, it'll be like a reel of him like really close to the camera, like knocking on the screen, and then cut into another part, him knocking on the screen again, telling a little secret like, yo, it's coming, it's coming. So like just get creative, like different ways that you can build up that excitement and anticipation. So that pre-launch again is different than the actual launch. So you plan the pre-launch, and then I would actually say you plan the actual launch first, then you plan the pre-launch. If that makes sense. I like to work backwards. So planning the launch gives you an overview of like the who, what, where, when, why, how. It gives you all the answers you need. So then when you plan the pre-launch, it's like clockwork. It's super easy. You know exactly what you need to do. You know exactly what types of posts will be the most effective and the most efficient for building that excitement and getting that anticipation up.
Okay.
And then lastly, develop a plan for ongoing member retention and engagement. That's the most important part. How can you retain your members and keep them engaged? So like some things that I'm even working on, right? Like nobody's leaving the Discord, but we want to work on how can we keep everybody engaged on the calls. So like you see now, this is just like phase one. I'm still working on it, right? My camera looking a little different. I done added a switcher board where I can change the camera view, and I'm still trying to figure out how I want to make this look a little different, but how I'm gonna incorporate these things. But we do have bells and sounds that I can incorporate if I wanted to. And Jerry was a part of this. Like I could play music, and we could have people kind of engaged in here. So like I'm just trying to even myself. Like I'm actively practicing the stuff that I'm, preaching to y'all too. So it's not like I'm just reading off of a card and just saying, "Hey, try this and it might work." Like I'll be able to let you know in a couple weeks if the things that I'm doing specifically even work. As far as like keeping people engaged and keeping that retention up. But what works for me still may not work for you, and what may not work for your community. But that is a part of the plan. Developing some type of way that you can keep up with your member retention and engagement. So that's what I got for y'all. I would love some feedback and some back and forth before I let y'all go, as far as like where your thoughts are. What do you feel like is, the next steps? What's the course of action that you getting ready to take for building out your membership package? And then also any feedback you might have for me on, on this lesson.
Go ahead. No, you good.
Oh no, thank you. No, I was just saying I think what my next steps are going to be thinking about just those different membership things I can do for my clients and for even other people who aren't my clients. So, I have my packages that I offer as like content creator, but as far as like memberships that people, those like 15 nine, I mean those 14.99s, those 24.99s, thinking about the educational aspect and then figuring out a way to create a community out of them like as well. And then again, I might even try to create like a community of like other photographers and videographers. So yeah, I think that's my next action, is just like, or that'll be my next action steps, is like focusing on that and just brainstorming more on that. And
Good point. Good point. I appreciate that feedback. I appreciate that feedback, Jerry, and I'm excited for you. So as far as like, what would that look like if you were to bring in other photographers and videographers into the mix, as opposed to like, are these people that will also be considered potential clients for you?
potentially, yeah, potentially. I think one thing that you brought up was like, I like how you are, through membership, people will have access to like your network. And I see this a lot, like when I see like real estate gurus and stuff like that who are trying to start real estate class. They're like, "Oh, you have access to my tax person, to my lender, to my this, my that." Um, I like that aspect because it's like you said, you have those three types of people who want to do it by themselves, and they have something like that. Then you have some people who want to do it by themselves, but they haven't done it long enough, so you just need a little help. And then you have those people who think they want to do it by themselves, but really don't, and then end up being converted over to your packages.
Right.
So yeah, I think it would just be like more of a network of building up like-minded photographers and videographers and content creators, and then having a like a network to like each other and different clients. And honestly, sort of, I'm even thinking about something like what Crystal was thinking about, as far as like while she's gone, like offering like commissioning out her clients to that network, and then with that they'll have access to the clients that you can't potentially take, and you can commission them off like to that network. And
Yeah.
I'm also thinking about that adding to the community, because you're like, yeah, they're giving this amount to you for a membership. Also, they're getting something much more valuable in return, which is
Yeah.
like the network.
That's a great point. Kind of like turning the community into like an agency.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
yeah. So especially like for videographers and photographers, is like they'll be paying into like, but then you also got to consider like, okay, are you able to consistently provide the opportunity as well? If that's
Yeah.
if that's the selling point, is the selling point is like access to clients, because you have like, let's say for example, like a Booksy. If Booksy charged me $20 a month to get access to clients to get bookings as a photographer on there, but I'm not getting any bookings, then all of a sudden now I feel like I'm not getting what I paid for.
Yeah, true.
Well, and some of them are like that, right? Some of them are really trash, where it's like use that they make you pay for the app because you get credits to be able to, put yourself in front of, people looking to hire you as a photographer, but then you got to pay more for credits to get, to get your name added to the top of the list and all kinds of stuff, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, yeah, that you could definitely do it like that, but I like that idea. I would just say it's worth ironing it out and seeing what it would look like as a model and how sustainable it would be.
Yeah.
Yeah, but what about you, Crystal? What you got?
So my first thing, well, not my first thing, but one of the things I would be doing is once again reaching out to you to help me with my funnel and my website on trying to understand what that would look like when people go and be able to get the membership, so that once I do the pre-launch. So first things first is starting the launch in my head, the who, when, where, how, and then coming up with a pre-launch post on how to start this off. Because like right now I'm on a time limit because I want to get this in order for when I'm actually out. Like I want to be able to do this while I'm sitting here recovering.
Mm-hmm.
And so yeah, getting that, putting that into order. I have an assistant that helps me with a lot of things like this. So we'll probably meet tomorrow and go over what does that look like. What did I have? Um, those key points. I'm gonna go back and listen to this video because you said a couple of things. Like, are you tired of the inconsistency in a clientele? Does your salon suite isolate you, or do you feel more empowered? Just those different things to jar people to start saying, what's she about to do? And yeah, just that. And then going over a price list. I kind of did mine's a little different. I was listening to you. And I was like, okay, maybe if I start at $9.99 or $24.99 and then went up to my virtual consultations are I think they're 60 if I'm not mistaken. They're either 50 or 60. I can't remember what I have on my website, but I had them for like $49.99. And then if you added like one-on-ones, it will be the $74.99 or $99.99. Just staying up under the $100 right now until I push on out there. And then it's according to like how much one-on-one you really want.
Yeah. I think it might be overcomplicating like what the beginning might look like for you, Crystal. What I would do is I would make those 101s more than 60. I would make the 101s a minimum of $120. But what I would do is make a make a group like a group coaching tier. Like the group coaching tier, and then what you do is you market it like they get discounts on one-on-ones. So it's like you could do like or you could do it two different ways, right? The first way is you could give them a discount. So you could say it's $24.99 or 40, I would say $47 a month for the group coaching, and then the first session included. Like they get their first one-on-one included. And then they'll have an option for discounted one-on-ones, additional one-on-ones if they need. Or you could do it where you give them like a group call is included, but you could do like let's say if your average client gets 4 one-on-ones once every week, and they paying currently they paying $60. So that would be 60 times 4, $240. You could make it $200 a month because they was already paying $60 a week anyway. You could make it $200 a month for the community, and automatically include group calls in there.
Gotcha.
I would say the first one, make it like a group call, $47 a month, and the first session free. They get like a discovery call free, and it's not even a full hour; it's a 30-minute discovery call, and then they get an option to add on. They'll being in the community gets them access to one-on-ones cheaper than the normal rate, which would be $120. You can give it to them $60. So it's really the same, but you doing what the retails do to us. They say, "Oh, major sale," but before they drop the sale, they hike the price up. So it's like the one-on-one is really $60, but you marketing it at $120. So anybody not in your community is paying $120, but the people who paying $47 a month get access to the one-on-ones for $60.
Gotcha.
That makes sense.
Yep. I just wrote it out. It does look group coaching, and the one-on-one is included. Like you said, which is like a 30-minute discovery.
Yeah, you actually make a lot more money that way because let's say if you got 10 people right now, that's every once in a while they paying you $60 here, $70 there. If you just get those 10 people to pay $47 a month, that's $470 right there a month, guaranteed. And then you can make another $60 for the additional coaching calls that they want to schedule with you. But they still get the coaching, the group coaching calls, and they get to be a part of a community and network.
Yeah. And then like I had in there 10% off of products, maybe free shipping.
Give them exclusivity of free shipping, like Amazon Prime, right? Give them free shipping. You can give them discounts on your products. May even if you really want to up the ante, give them a plus feature, or if you want the Stylist Plus plan, right? And so from $47 to now $150 a month, you might get them like priority booking on like space in the salon if they need to. Like priority booking, like they don't get a booking, but maybe like they get first dibs on booking, or like the priority.
I like it.
Yep. So would it be beneficial for y'all if like we don't necessarily have to run this lesson per se back, but if we, spend next week even just kind of going more so into the memberships, going into like the details of setting it up, doing some more brainstorming, so that you guys could be advancing this as well before we just kind of jump into, another topic?
I love it.
Yeah, I think that would be good.
Yeah.
Perfect. So my thing is, I think I'll be coming back from Jersey next Tuesday. So I was anticipating doing a pre-recorded call, but instead, would y'all be down for us next week only doing the call on Wednesday at 8:30?
Yeah, that'll be good.
I think that would work for me. But yeah, I'll be in the chat.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I'm trying to think. I go to New Orleans next Thursday. Oh Lord Jesus, it's coming so fast. We like already in July.
Yeah,
we're in June or July.
Got to be in July. One more next Saturday, July 1st.
Okay, so I go to New Orleans for the Essence on next Thursday. So that Wednesday evening, it should work. I can pack in.
Okay.
and talk.
And
But
we could do it. We can move it up so it's not too late too. We could do next Wednesday at like 7:30.
no, 8:30 is fine. It gives me more time to get from the salon and relax for me.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Cool. So we'll for next week only, we're gonna push that call to Wednesday at 8:30, and we're just gonna again take this time to just powwow again and you know collaborate, brainstorm how we can build up those memberships. So we'll just take it step by step and go over memberships and creating that membership plan part 2.
That's perfect.
Cool.
Again, I just want to thank you so much for your intimacy and your coaching style and the knowledge that you give and the gems that you give. Each time I'm on these calls, I'm just blown. And yeah, I appreciate you.
Yeah, no doubt. Anytime, Crystal, as always, as always. And Jay, I look forward to having you on here as well. We had Crystal, Jerry is actually my frat brother. I met him doing some work. We were working for the same client at the time, and we just connected. He had moved to Cali, then moved to Ohio. I haven't talked to him about a year. And he just hit me up and was like, bro, we got to catch up. We talked for about an hour on Sunday, and now he's in here, and he got a couple things, going on that I'm excited about for him. So glad to welcome Jerry in the chat as well. And you two, of course, use that Discord as a networking tool as well. So feel free to connect with each other,
Awesome.
network with other members in there as well. And other than that, I'll see y'all on Wednesday.
Yes,
All right.
sir. I see you, man.
All right, enjoy. Have a great night.